Hi, this is Pastor Steve, and I'm here to talk to you today about some exciting things that are happening at Ebenezer. As you know, we're growing. Praise the Lord, we're growing. And our service is full. Service is full not only in the sanctuary, but out in the overflow area. If you've been here at Ebenezer, we've also got another overflow area in the choir room. And so we've been having some discussions with leadership. Matter of fact, several weeks ago, actually maybe several months ago now, we put out a survey, talked about the option of 2 services or putting in video overflow in the Heritage Center, our old worship center. And so we're working through that, and we need your input, we need your help in making this final decision before we're able to build. One thing we would love to do, love to be able to build a new building. But we realize that realistically that probably is not going to happen until 2015, unless the Lord were to send along a huge blessing. We know it's going to cost us about $1.6 million for the next building project. We owe about $230,000 or $40,000 yet on this building, and so we want to be good stewards. And so we're just asking the Lord to give us wisdom. How can we best facilitate our growth and until we're able to build our next building? And so we ask you to pray about it. We've appreciated the input that we've had so far, and we've kind of been working through that and feel like we've kind of come to maybe the best option, and talking about going to 2 services. That would look something like this, possibly an 8 o'clock or 8:15 early worship, Sunday school 9:30, and then second worship service 10:45 or 11 o'clock. And that's, we call that a sandwich, a worship sandwich. So you've got worship, Sunday school, worship. A lot of questions that come out of that we won't be able to address all of them today, but we want you to watch this, and then we want to get some feedback from you on Facebook and on Twitter and on social media. You can watch us on YouTube as well, and help us through this process. We're thinking about late summer, early fall, launching into 2 services. And again, that would be 8 o'clock, 8:15 early worship, Sunday school 9:30, second worship 10:45 or 11. And so we need to know, okay, which service would you most likely attend most of the time? Would it be the early or the second worship? How is that going to affect your participation in our small groups and or our Sunday school at 9:30, because that time will now change to an earlier time? And so we need your input and help. Other questions have come along in respect to nursery. Yes, we'll always have nursery for all of our worship services. We may not have children's church for the early worship. Again, that will depend on demand and how many young couples we have with young children during that early worship service. It's kind of generally thought that maybe the second service might be the dominant service just because of the time frame. We would have all the same elements for the most part in both services, with the exception of possibly choir, not a choir in the early worship service. When it comes to special Sundays for communion, we would do the same things in both services. Possibly at Easter, Jubilee, 2 or 3 other special events throughout the year, we might combine, not have Sunday school and combine for maybe a 10:30 type worship service. Again, those are questions that we're asking. We need your input from as well. I've met with the deacons, the trustees, Sunday school leadership, several others in leadership here at the church. We've talked through all of these options, and we feel like we have a really unified thought in respect to going to 2 services. But again, we want to walk through this very carefully, and we want to not only have the mind of Christ, but we want to have a unified body, and we want to make sure that we don't do anything that's going to hinder what we believe is very special here at Ebenezer Baptist Church. As you know, when you come here, you feel very welcome. There's connectedness. You feel like this is family, and we want to maintain that. We don't want to do anything that's going to destroy that sense of connectedness or cohesiveness or that sense of a family here at Ebenezer Baptist Church. And so we ask you to pray with us. Please pray with us that we'd have the mind of Christ, we'd have great wisdom as we walk forward. Also, what about transition between the services? That's why we're thinking about maybe 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock for the 2 services, 9:30 for the worship. That will give us 30 minutes plus or minus, more likely 30 minutes plus, between each of the events, between early worship, Sunday school, between Sunday school and second worship, so that transition can take place. We'll have people coming in and out of the driveway. We'll have children moving from Sunday school classes, adults moving from Sunday school classes. That will also give time for folks to fellowship, to meet. We may even have some donuts and coffee and things in between the services, just so that we can make sure that people stay connected if they're not worshiping together in one single service. So again, we ask you to pray. That's 2 service possibilities coming late summer, early fall. And it would look something like this: 8 o'clock or 8:15 early worship, 9:30 Sunday school, 10:45 or 11 o'clock second worship. And so we want the mind of Christ. We want to maintain unity. We want to maintain the sense of family here at Ebenezer. And we want to say thank you because you're a big part of what takes place here at Ebenezer Baptist Church. We ask you to pray, and we're looking forward to seeing you in worship.